Veda, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, because these are the Shastras which direct us.
If you have committed bad sin, you go to hell. If you have committed good deeds, you go to heaven.
Human life is meant to observe this reality that death means forgetfulness of your past life. It's very simple. What is right and what is wrong is decided by the Shastra. Who has taken birth will die, and whoever is dying will take birth.
Welcome back to another episode of Mic Drop. In this episode, let's dive deeper into life and know what makes this life more meaningful. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In Sanatana Dharma, what gives you more impact? Is it mantra or sadhana?
Sadhana refers to a regime that you are engaging in certain activities. That is called a sadhana. It's called a practice. You are engaging in some spiritual practice. You get up early in the morning, do certain things. So this is a spiritual regime. It's a spiritual practice. And mantra, the chanting of the mantra, it refers to the practice which is under the sadhana. So I can say the chanting of the mantras, it's part of sadhana. In that sense, we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is called the Maha Mantra. This is present in Kali Santarna Upanishad. So this Maha Mantra we chant. So this chanting of the mantra is the sadhana that we do in our day-to-day life. We are spiritual practitioners. I am myself a brahmachari, and there are so many devotees who are married, grihasthas. We all have a regime, spiritual regime, which is a sadhana. And in that regime, we have the practice of chanting mantra. And similarly, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, this is 18,000 shlokas. These shlokas are also in one sense a mantra. This also liberates us, liberates our mind from all sufferings. So in that sense, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, this is also chanting mantra, which is also part of sadhana. So we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we chant the whole names of Krishna, the mantras. So these are all coming under strict sadhana practice. For any spiritual practitioner, this is needed. Let him be a sannyasi or a grihastha or a vanaprastha or a brahmachari. This sadhana is very much needed.
What is our core identity, Prabhuji?
The core identity of everyone is a servant of Krishna. Shastra says, Jivera Sarupahoy Krishnera Nityadas. That the identity of a jiva is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. Yeah, this is our core identity. If we stick to this identity, then we'll be happy. But we have so many false identities. We think that I am male, I am female, I am Indian, I am Hindu, I am this, I am that. This is not our identity. These are all bodily designations. This is in Sanskrit we call this as upadhi. This is not our proper identity. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratmena nirmalam rshikkena rshikkesha sevanam bhakti rutyate. That when you give up all these wrong identities which are in connection with the body and identify yourself as a servant of Krishna, then that is called bhakti. So the real identity for every living entity is that he is a servant of Krishna.
What is right and what is wrong? Some people do good things, some do bad things. How do they choose right and wrong?
We cannot choose what is right and wrong, and I cannot give my opinion about what is right and wrong. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tashmat Shastra Pramanante Karya Karya Vyavastithau. Ya Shastra Vidanoktam Karma Kartum Iharhasi. That what is right and what is wrong is decided by the Shastra. So, knowing this, engage in what is right and don't do wrong. That's a very common and simple understanding. We cannot, even in India, I cannot decide what is right and what is wrong. If I am in the street, then I have to follow what the Indian constitution says. That if I have to keep left, I have to keep left. If I cannot throw garbage in the street, then I cannot throw. I have to follow what the Indian law says. I cannot simply say that this is my right to do what I want, and I think this is wrong, so I won't do. It is wrong to pay income tax, I won't do. We cannot say
that.
because the law says if at all you are earning so much, this much, then you have to pay. So this right and wrong is decided by the government. Now you have come to our temple. So you are a Mataji, we say move to the right. Okay, he is a male, move to the left and take darshan of the Lord. Sit and take prasadam. So when you are in a certain place, you follow what is right and wrong of that place. And we cannot decide anything by ourselves. So in the whole existence, what is right and what is wrong, it is decided by the Shastra. Tasmat Shastra Pramanante. Even Krishna, he is God himself. He is the creator of Shastra, and he is saying that the Praman is Shastra. What is right and what is wrong is decided by the Shastra. That's why we say, when you follow what the Shastra says, then you are engaging in a pious activity, then you get happiness in the future. You get a good birth or whatever material happiness that happening to you, that's because of what the Shastra says. And when you don't do what the Shastra says, then that is also you get a pious activity. But when Shastra says to do something, and if you don't do that, then you are engaging in a sinful activity. And when Shastra says to don't do something and you are doing, that is also sinful. So the right and wrong is decided by the Shastra. It's not my opinion or your opinion. It's a general understanding that the right and wrong is decided by the higher authority. So the higher authority is Shastra. Krishna is the person who has made the Shastra. So we have to follow Shastra. In fact, whatever right and wrong is present in our culture, that is also from Shastra only. It may be influenced much by the modern world, but we have so many right. When an elder comes, we get up.
Respect.
This is there in the culture, this is there in the Shastra, this respect is there in the Shastra. But in the Western world, they may not get up because maybe they are not much in tune with the Shastra. But the right and wrong, in our culture, if you don't get up, then they will chastise you. Your parents will chastise you. Somebody senior has come to you, how you can sit? And don't put your legs over the other leg when the senior is there. So this is wrong in Vedic culture when you do that, but that is coming from Shastra. So in that way, everything that is there in the culture, that is also derived from Shastra. So the Shastra is the Praman. So the right and wrong is decided by the Shastra. Yes, that's very important. That's why we are speaking about Veda, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, because these are the Shastras which direct us. Shastra is a law book. In one sense we can say this is a law book. So it is directing us the way where we should go. Yes.
And how can one take the perception or concept of death? Most of them get pacified or scared when they listen to word. But that is the fact. Once you are born, you have to die. Yeah. So that is a fact. How can someone accept that?
The proverb says, there is an English proverb I used to hear before, as sure as death. You accept that or not, you are going to get it.
Correct.
That's why it's called as sure as death. Anything may happen, may not happen, but death will surely happen. This is a reality. We have seen people dying in the past. We are seeing people who are dying now. So it is expected that people will die in the future. And we have to accept the reality. Definitely it's a painful experience. We understand from the Vedic scriptures, Srila Prabhupada, he often used to quote that death means forgetfulness of your past life. It's very simple. Just forgetfulness of your past life is called death. Definitely in our previous life, we were in some body, we had a different set of parents, friends, maybe the different situations in a different country. We just forgot. This life we forgot. So when we had that body, we could remember, but that body is no more. We left the body, and that leaving the body is called death. In one sense, we say that death means change of body, But death means forgetfulness of the previous body. That is also called death. It is a painful experience, definitely, no doubt. That's why Shastra is saying, we see that Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam, that an intelligent person has to observe. Etajnanam iti prokta, that I define knowledge as um, a one that a person has to observe that one is taking birth, one is dying, one is getting old, and one is getting diseased. We should observe these facts. Human life is meant to observe this reality. One is, I may be young or someone may be a child, but one has to observe that one is getting old. One has to observe that one is getting diseased. One has to observe that people are dying. This is a fact, and one has to observe, and that person is in knowledge, Krishna says. In fact, this is a very interesting question that you are asking. The same question was asked to Yudhishthira Maharaj. If you can see this text in Mahabharata, Mahabharata, we see Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked the question that what is the most astonishing, wonderful thing in the world? Then he quotes this. Ahani ahani bhutani gacchanti yamalayam sheshas thavarmichanti kimmascharya matapparam. That every day, ahani bhutani, so many living entities, gacchanti yamalayam, they are all dying and going to Yamalok. But sheshas thavarmichanti, but people are thinking that I will stay here. Kimmascharya matapparam. What can be more wonderful than this? So it's just foolishness to think that I won't die. In fact, people for a long time, they have seen that they are dying, but still because of their attachment to the body, they think that I don't die. My neighbor will die, I won't die. My husband will die, my wife will die, my child may die, my father may die, but I won't die. When one thinks that he is going to die, he will die, then naturally he becomes inquisitive of his future life. Because now they don't think that they are going to die, then they don't naturally inquire what will be my future.
Do someone get that intuitions, some tell before 24 hours they depart from the body, they realize that okay, this is their last time?
Possible. In fact, when somebody is very much tuned with nature, they can observe. We see in the text of Ramayana, even in Srimad Bhagavatam also, that whenever some asambhava is going to happen, there will be some hints. Especially in Ramayana, if you read, Ravana was getting so many asambhava that a fox is howling, and the deities in the temples were looking bad. Then there is a particular animal moving from this side to that side when he was walking. Like that, the nature will give some indication that this is called nimitta jnana. In Shastra, there is one more Shastra called nimitta jnana, where you can know all these things, and when you observe, then you will know, oh, this is a danger, oh, this is auspicious. When you are going to begin a journey, you see a mother carrying a pot of water coming in front, then it is considered as auspicious, then okay, it's a good journey. So these are all observances. Modern people may not have faith, but this is a fact. And if you are in tune with the nature and you also have the knowledge, then you will be able to understand. Even modern science also say, especially if you have if you are not going to face a accidental death, but really it's a natural death, then you will be able to observe. I think something is going to happen to me today. But if it's going to be an accident, somebody dying in the street in an accident, that can also be detected. If somebody is really very much in tune, there is a Shastra also for that. But whatever it is, one has to die, maybe within 24 hours or not. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it's a very interesting literature, because in Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj, he got a curse that he will die in 7 days. And he immediately took that on his head. He renounced his kingdom. He left the family. He came to the banks of the Ganga and started hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami. He took it seriously. So anybody in this world who has taken the birth, Jatasya Dhruva Mrityu, Dhruvam Janma Mrityasya. Who has taken birth will die, and whoever is dying will take birth. Krishna says in Gita. So it's a prerequisite for every human being, especially who has taken birth, to get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam before he leaves the body. It is a mandate. It is a mandatory. It is he has to do. He must do. Eva bigachet. He must get this knowledge before he dies. Either 24 hours or 7 days or 7 years. We have to get this knowledge. If you don't get this knowledge, then we do not know where we are going to enter. With this knowledge, you can save yourself. By reading Bhagavatam every day, you will know who you are, who God is, what are His activities. Then actually you become a good person, change your life, and accordingly you live a successful life.
It acts as a guide.
Yes, you are connected to God. When you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you are fully in connection with God, Krishna. Then naturally when you leave the body, you are not tensed. You straight go back home, back to God, back to Krishna. It is like getting up from a dream. When a person is connected with Krishna by hearing Harikatha his whole life, then he is fearless in the time of death. Somebody who is not connecting himself with Krishna, he will have great fear. This much I can say. Definitely when somebody is going to face death, it's not going to be easy. Especially when somebody has lived a very sinful life. The time of death, you will see so many horrible scenes. In fact, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 6th canto of this literature, there is a story of Ajamila. It details near-death experience. He was about to die. He was seeing very horrible persons coming in front of him. He was completely panicked. The situation was very tense for him. He was very afraid. Then he started calling his sons, whose name was Narayan. So he called out the name Narayan, because my son Narayan will come and help me. But because of his whole life he committed sinful activities. Ajamala, he committed so many sinful activities. So he was seeing horrible things at the end of his life. But because he was a pious Brahmana before, he kept his son's name as Narayan. So at the time of his death, he remembered Narayan by calling his son's name. So at that time, the Vishnudutas come. He was seeing Yamadutas. Usually people who are very sinful, they will see Yamadutas. Yamadutas are very horrible to look at. They have strange appearances. They will have strange weapons in their hand. Definitely people will see it. More information you can get from Srimad Bhagavatam if you want to know in detail. But how you can be saved from clutches of Yamadutas, that is also described in Srimad Bhagavatam. You can get your copy of Bhagavatam and you can be saved from the fear of death. At the hands of Yamaraj. Yeah, you don't have to die horribly. You can die happily. Actually, it's wonderful to say you can die happily. But only a devotee of Krishna will die happily. Everybody will die in fear. Even the greatest scientist or even a very powerful person, everybody will die miserably in a very painful, fearful situation.
Prabhuji, we were speaking about death, Yamadhutas, all those things. I wanted to ask you a question. Is hell and heaven, there are two paths. Some tell whatever, if you have committed bad sin, you go to hell. If you have committed good deeds, you go to heaven. Does this exist? Is it true? Or what is your perception on hell and heaven?
Yes, it exists. No doubt. Krishna speaks about heavenly planets. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam shine punye martyalokam vishanti. That when one engages in pious activities, they go to the Swarga, and when the pious activities are finished, then they just fall down back to the middle planetary system. And if Jaganya gunavrittisto adogachanti tamasaha, when somebody is engaging in sinful activities, then they go to hell and suffer. Hell is there, it's a fact. You read Srimad Bhagavatam, you will find the various descriptions of different hellish planets.
Okay.
Bhagavatam speaks about heavenly planets also. The descriptions are there. The full descriptions of heaven and hell, and even above the spiritual world, Vaikuntha world, the descriptions of the Vaikuntha world, the beautiful world of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All descriptions you will find in Bhagavatam. It's so amazing literature. So much knowledge is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, we should go for it. Yeah, hell is there. If you do something bad, then you get punished severely in hell. Then you will be put in a specific body by which you will continue to suffer. And if you have done pious activity, you will be promoted to heaven and you can enjoy the beautiful gardens, valleys, food, very wonderful body. You can travel without the help of any aeroplanes. There will be special aeroplanes which don't require any petrol. They can just fly. So these things are all there. These are all not accessible to the living beings of the earthly planet. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. They exist. They do exist, but they are not accessible to us. So when you are engaging in pious activity, then you go there and enjoy. And when you do a sinful activity, then you go and suffer in hellish planets. The descriptions are there for everything.
Are there different kinds of punishments?
Yes, there are so many varieties of punishments according to the activity you do and according to the severity. Everything is nicely planned in the creation by Brahma under Krishna's order. So all the planets have been created by Brahma under the order of Krishna for the different living beings to put in their respective positions. It's amazing how Bhagavatam describes the hellish planets, and immediately the hearer of Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj, he becomes compassionate that people are suffering in such hellish planets, how to deliver them. Then immediately the answer comes, okay, how these people who are suffering in such horrible lokas, the hells, how they can be saved. Yeah. So we should be cautious of what we are doing. We should not engage in sinful activity. So the warning is there, Shastra is there, and similarly the information of the different hells are there. So it's not to frighten you, but to give you a warning and then concentrate on what you should do.
Now when we are speaking, you told there are so many punishments in different hellish planets.
Yes.
What kind of punishments do people who commit sin get?
Yeah. I do not remember the exact punishment and the name of the hell and the description. Perhaps I can read from the book. I know that there is a hell called Raurava, Maharaurava, Kumbhipaka, where they throw the person who has committed such a sin for engaging in such illicit activity. The descriptions are there. I can read from Bhagavatam 5th canto.
Yeah.
Maybe we will read.
A few phrases.
Yes. This 5th canto Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is presented in 12 cantos, and every canto has its own significance. The 10 subject matters are described in Bhagavatam. The 10 subjects are creation, sub-creation, then there is a planetary systems and the protection given by the Supreme Lord, the different avatars, the Manus who ruled the different times of the whole yugas, so, and the ultimate shelter, Krishna, liberation, everything, the 10 subjects are described. And the 5th canto, it gives a description about the planetary systems, how the planets are located and the distance between the different planets. It's so amazing, especially the 5th canto is speaking about the astronomical subject. And while describing the different planets, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami, he speaks about the lower planetary systems. So while speaking about the lower planetary systems, then he comes to the topic of hellish planets, which are also part of the creation. So in that particular chapter of the 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there are various descriptions of the different hellish planets and the persons who qualify or disqualify themselves to enter there. So I want to read few of those verses. This is Canto 5, Chapter 26, the hellish planets. I am reading just the translation of text 8. There are 28 different planets, hellish planets mentioned, but I will read some 4 or 5. My dear king, A person who appropriates another's legitimate wife, children, or money is arrested at the time of death by the fierce Yamadutas, who bind him with the rope of time and forcibly throw him into the hellish planet known as Tamisra. On this very dark planet, the sinful man is chastised by the Yamadutas, who beat and rebuke him. He is starved and he is given no water to drink. Thus, the wrathful assistants of Yamaraj cause him severe suffering, and sometimes he faints from their chastisement. And then, text 9. The destination of a person who slyly cheats another man and enjoys his wife and children is the hell known as Andathamishra. There his condition is exactly like that of a tree being chopped at its roots. Even before reaching Andathamishra, the sinful living being is subjected to various extreme miseries. These afflictions are so severe that he loses his intelligence and sight. It is for this reason that learned sages call this hell Andathamishra. Text 10. A person who accepts his body as his self works very hard day and night for money to maintain his own body and the bodies of his wife and children. While working to maintain himself and his family, he may commit violence against other living beings. Such a person is forced to give up his body and his family at the time of death, when he suffers the reaction for his envy of other creatures by being thrown into the hell called Raurava. Maybe just one more I will read. For the maintenance of their bodies and the satisfaction of their tongues, cruel persons cook poor animals and birds alive. Such persons are condemned even by man-eaters. In their next life, they are carried by the Yamadutas to the hell known as Kumbhipaka, where they are cooked in boiling oil. These are quite a few descriptions of hell from Srimad Bhagavatam. But the next chapter immediately after this is how one can be saved from this hell. So Parikshit Maharaj, he intelligently asked the question to Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami delineates the path of devotional service, how one can, by regularly hearing about Harikatha, taking shelter of Krishna, engaging in devotional service, they can be freed from all these karmic debts. They don't have to suffer hell, they don't have to go to heaven and enjoy. They can simply be always happy by going back home, back to the kingdom of God, where our real Father is there. Because even taking birth in heavenly planets is not recommended in the Shastra, because maybe I can ask you a question that is it that the rich people are happy?
Not exactly.
No. So similarly, heavenly people mean they are the most richest. So they are also not happy. In this material world, nobody can be happy. That's why in the beginning of our talk we were saying, only when one is connected with their Supreme Father, Krishna, then there is happiness. So Shastra, Krishna also says in Gita, Shine punye matilokam vishanti, you may go to heaven, but once the punya is gone, you will again fall down here. So it is not intelligent to go to heaven. It is definitely foolish to go to hell for your sinful activity. It's very intelligent when one engages in devotional service by hearing Harikatha, chanting the holy names of Krishna.
And what are the rules or what are the lessons that our Sanatana Dharma tells?
Principles of Sanatana Dharma.
Yes.
This is quoted by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tad vadanti mahatmanam Krishnam dharmam sanatanam. This is a verse by Srila Vedavyas. Vedavyas is the person who wrote down all the Vedas, and his mature contribution is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vedavyas, in his text Mahabharat, he says that those who are learned, those who have studied the Vedic scriptures, they conclude that to speak about Krishna is Sanatana Dharma. Krishnam Dharmam Sanatanam. To know Krishna is Sanatana Dharma. So the goal of Sanatana Dharma is to attain Krishna. That's why we see that Bhagavata Dharma is not different from Sanatana Dharma, because Bhagavatam is taking you to Krishna. And there are various aspects in Sanatana Dharma, but everything is meant for Haritoshanam, to please Hari. Yeah, that's why We should come to the proper knowledge by reading our Shastra. The book of Sanatan Dharma, people generally think this is Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita is an introductory book to Sanatan Dharma. The main book of Sanatan Dharma is Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam speaks about everything. It speaks about Varnashma Dharma, it speaks about all the different incarnations of God. There are so many Vishnu temples, Rama Avatar, Krishna Avatar, Narsimha Avatar, Varaha Avatar. For every avatar there is a temple also. All the temples, activities of those avatars is mentioned in Bhagavatam. And moreover, in Sanatan Dharma, they celebrate so many festivals. We celebrate Diwali. Why? Krishna killed Narakasura. That comes in the 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. We celebrate Onam festival, especially Caroline. And that story is related to Vamana Dev going to Bali Chakravarti asking for a 3 pace of land. That comes in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that Kumbh Mela festival, that Kumbha from where it's a pot of nectar, the churning of the milk ocean. That story also comes from Srimad Bhagavatam. Even Ugadi, the Sandhi, when two yugas meet, that's called Ugadi. That Ugadi is also significantly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. It speaks about time factor, the yugas. So whatever festivals that the people of Sanatana Dharma are celebrating, the significance is there in Bhagavatam. The purpose of life, that is also there in Bhagavatam. That's why we say the literature of Sanatana Dharma is Srimad Bhagavatam.
What made you choose this path of spirituality? And how did you know Krishna is your father? Not everyone realize it.
In spiritual life, this is the understanding that, as I quoted before, Om Angyanam Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmain Shri Gurave Namaha. That we are born in ignorance. It's all by the mercy of the Guru that we came to this knowledge. Without our Guru, our Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, I would not have come to this understanding. So I am still practicing, still under the mercy of them, and this is their mercy that I have come in touch with this knowledge, and I am always praying for their mercy that I always stand by their side and serve their divine lotus feet in attaining Krishna, serving Krishna. It's all their mercy. Otherwise, how did I get it? In spiritual life, that's the understanding, and that's a very fact. That's a fact also. It's only because of the mercy of the devotees of the Lord that we come in touch. I was interested in sense gratification, but somehow the devotees were merciful. They gave me the books of Srila Prabhupada, and I read these books and thought, Krishna, what a knowledge Prabhupada has given. So it is His mercy that I could take it seriously also, and it is His mercy that I am practicing it, and I always eternally desire His mercy so that I continually serve under His lotus feet.
How powerful is the word Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a very, very powerful mantra because this is the name of Krishna. Krishna is not different from his name. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Siddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. That Krishna is not different from his name, or the name is not different from Krishna. In the material world, an object is different from the name, but Krishna is not like that. When you say Krishna, then Krishna is fully present. So when we say Hare Krishna, this is Krishna himself, and when Krishna is the most powerful person, so when you chant Hare Krishna, then this is a very powerful mantra because this is Krishna himself. That there is a verse in Shikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that there are so many names of Krishna, and in every name Krishna has invested his full potency. So when you chant the names of Krishna or Rama, the effect is full because this is Krishna's holy name and Krishna is fully present in his name. So Mahamantra, the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Being non-different from Krishna, this is the most powerful. When God is powerful, then the most powerful should be his name, because he is non-different from his name. So Hare Krishna is the most powerful of all mantras. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I feel like telling it again to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
we always want everybody to chant Hare Krishna, Hare
Yes.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Before I wrap up this enlightenment session, I would like to ask you, what is your mic drop moment? The moment which gave you most satisfaction in your life till now.
Yeah. I can say my drop moment is always changing, because the spiritual life is like that. Anandam ambudi mardhanam. When you see that this is my drop moment, then the next moment you feel like more pleasure. Then you see that this is my drop moment.
Okay.
Spiritual life is like material life is, we have to scratch what is my drop moment, because you are not best at any time in your life.
Correct.
But in spiritual life, more you engage in devotional service, you see yourself to be, yeah, this is my best moment. Then immediately after some time, you realize that, yo, this is my best
The
moment.
more deeper we go, the more
Yes.
best moments we realize.
Yes. Definitely, my best moments began when I came in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books. When I came in touch with these books through his movement, and when I sincerely, by their mercy, with some sincerity, I was just engaging in activities. Then my drop moments were more and more increasing. So I do not know what is my best moment, but if at all our Guru Maharaj and Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, they are all pleased with us, then that is our my drop moments always. And in spiritual life, it is constantly increasing. In material life, we have to pinpoint, is it there any my drop moment? But in
Correct.
spiritual life, that's why we are welcoming everybody to the spiritual life, because spiritual life is all about enjoyment. There is nothing called suffering there, and the moments are best, and the best moments always increase.
I really feel blessed today with all the insights and inspirations that you had given us. Few logical things, few things which we were not even aware of. So I would like to thank you for giving us your time, Prabhuji, and sharing your knowledge with us. As a token of gratitude from my art partner Doodle Alley, we would like to give you this beautiful art piece. And
Thank you very much. This is Krishna,
yes,
and Krishna means flute, so the flute is there.
Yeah.
So we are also very happy.
thank you so
Saying
much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, for your time and the information that you had given us today.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
All
Hare
glories to
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you everyone for joining us on this inspirational session. May this wisdom and knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam guide us in our spiritual journey. For more unscripted, unfiltered and unmissable conversations, please subscribe to Hamsa TV. Hare Krishna. Thank you.